Poison prevention.
People don't really know this silent killer is going through their homes until sometimes it's too late.
New rules for CO detectors go into effect January 1st. Need for speed.
I like to make time if I have to go to Toronto. I wouldn't mind if it was a 120, to tell you the truth.
Should Ontario increase highway speed limits? And sharing in the magic of Christmas.
I budgeted $2,000 a year towards my hobby. I really wish more people could see it.
A local couple's public invitation to visit their winter wonderland.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us both on CTV Windsor and AM 800. It's been a busy few days for Windsor fire crews after a string of fires across the city throughout the weekend, some of them deemed suspicious. This morning, crews responding to Windsor Avenue. Crews were called to the 900 block of Windsor Avenue around 8 this morning to a fire on the second floor of a residential apartment building. Windsor Fire says its on-scene investigation determined that a heat lamp, while in use, was placed too close to a couch. Damage is estimated at $200,000. One adult and 2 dogs were displaced. No injuries were reported, and officials say the fire had not been deemed suspicious. The unit has since been turned over to the building owner. Meanwhile, police are investigating one of those suspicious fires from the weekend. Windsor police say an arson was reported early Saturday morning at a vacant home in the 1600 block of Drouillard Road. Officers were called to the scene around 3:30 and say the back of the house was heavily damaged, with an estimated $75,000 in damage. Surveillance video shows 2 people approaching the property, pouring an accelerant, and then setting the home on fire. Police are now looking for 2 white men believed to be between 18 and 25 years old. Residents and business owners in the area are being asked to check security or dash cam footage from early Saturday morning for anything that could help investigators. In an unrelated investigation now, police are searching for a suspect after a vehicle was torched in Amherstburg. Windsor police say in the early morning hours of December 13th, the suspect was dropped off by a taxi near Mullins Crescent. They believe the suspect poured accelerant on a 2017 Ford Explorer, setting the vehicle on fire. The blaze spread part of the home, causing more than $100,000 in damage. Fleeing the scene, the suspect ran back to the taxi, which police have not been able to track. They say the suspect is a man wearing all black clothing. Again, anyone with information that could be helpful is asked to contact Windsor Police. And an update to a fire from earlier this month. One person has now died after a lit cigarette near an oxygen tank sparked a blaze. This happened on December 12th in the East End. Officials say someone was smoking in a wheelchair while using oxygen, with that individual being rushed to hospital with critical injuries. They've since succumbed to those injuries, with officials reminding the public not to smoke while oxygen is in use. Ontario is tightening its rules to protect families from what's known as the silent killer. New carbon monoxide alarm requirements are now coming to almost every home in the province, and fire officials say homeowners and landlords should start preparing now. CTV's Chris Campbell explains what's changing and why. Chris.
Beginning January 1st, 2026, the Ontario Fire Code will require carbon monoxide alarms in more places and more types of homes than ever before. Fire officials say too many people still underestimate the danger, and today, departments across the region are sounding the alarm early.
It's colorless, odorless, and it can be deadly in minutes.
The number of times where the caller calls 911 and says, I've not been feeling so good for a few days, and then they go out in the fresh air and they feel a lot better, and we come in and we find that there is carbon monoxide in the home.
Fire Chief Chris Case from Chatham-Kent says around 50 people on average die from carbon monoxide poisoning in Canada each year. Now the province is expanding the fire code to better protect residents against carbon monoxide poisoning.
People don't really know this silent killer is going through their homes until sometimes it's too late.
Starting in 2026, near Nearly every type of home, houses, rental units, condos, and apartments must have CO alarms if there's any potential source, including furnaces, stoves, fireplaces, or attached garage. And alarms will be required on every story and beside all sleeping areas.
If you're up in your bedrooms late at night and then all of a sudden you have something going on with your furnace in the basement, they want that early detection.
For multi-unit buildings, alarms will be mandatory in units located beside or above service rooms or garages, and even in some common corridors.
You've got to have a carbon monoxide alarm on every floor of your house. And that's going to give you that extra level of protection so that as soon as the carbon monoxide is detected, you're alerted. You're not waiting for it to get up to where you're sleeping.
Homeowners must make sure alarms are installed and working. Landlords are responsible for installing and maintaining alarms in rental units, and tenants must report any issues.
Your landlord should be coming to you and saying, we're making these changes to be compliant with the fire code. And, you know, that's especially important when you've got like apartments, multi-block apartments, high-rise, that, you know, every one of these apartments should be getting serviced by a carbon monoxide alarm.
Fire officials say now is the time to check your alarms, replace expired units, and plan ahead, because failure to comply could lead to fines and far more serious consequences.
Prevention is always better than trying to get out the door because the alarms are going off.
For the cost of life safety, it's a relatively small investment.
The new rules come into effect the first day of the year, but fire departments say carbon monoxide doesn't wait for a deadline.
It's a preventable tragedy.
More details on the updated Ontario Fire Code can be found on each local fire department's website. And if you're unsure whether your home needs alarms under the new rules, fire officials say to assume you do and install them now.
Okay, Chris Campbell tonight. Thank you for this, Chris. All of this as firefighters across Canada say they're facing more violence on the job. The union, representing thousands of firefighters in Canada and the U.S., is urging the federal government to strengthen protections. They say out of the 117 fire departments, 40% of firefighters say they have experienced an assault in the past 5 years, with incidents ranging from verbal abuse to deadly attacks. The Department of Justice says it recognizes the need to protect emergency personnel and ensure a workplace free from abuse. In other news, 5 teenagers are facing serious charges after a violent incident in central Windsor. Windsor police say it happened just after 6 o'clock on December 14th at a home in the 3500 block of Wells Street. Officers say a woman was outside her home with her children when a white Dodge Caravan pulled up with several men inside. Police alleged one suspect got out of the vehicle armed with a machete while another fired a BB gun in their direction. The vehicle fled, and police say a witness followed it onto the EC Row Expressway where the BB gun was allegedly fired again towards that witness's vehicle before she broke off. No one was physically hurt. Police later located the vehicle and say the teenagers have now been charged, including with assault with a weapon and discharging an air gun with intent to wound. Because of their ages, their identities cannot be released. A single vehicle crash in Lakeshore has landed a Bell River man in serious trouble with police. OPP say it happened around 6:30 Friday night on Rochester Town Line Road in Lakeshore. The 63-year-old driver is facing multiple charges, including impaired operation by alcohol and drugs, impaired operation with the blood alcohol level over 80, and dangerous operation. Police say the vehicle was impounded for 7 days and the driver's license was suspended for 90. The province of Alberta is getting ready to shift a new pilot project into drive, raising the speed limit on rural highways to 120 kilometers an hour. That's even faster than the increased speed limit we're given on certain 400 series highways here in Ontario just a few short years ago. So with that in the rear view, should our province consider following Alberta's lead? CTV's Robert Lothian looks into that for us tonight.
Stretching more than 40 kilometers between Tilbury and Windsor, drivers along this corridor are limited to 110 kilometers per hour.
I just got back from a trip to Europe, and they drive a lot faster there. But the Autobahn in Germany is much, much faster. And so I find the speed limits here are definitely a lot slower.
Even using the 401 sparingly, Windsor driver Robert Saunders feels the speed limit could use an update.
So if you're talking about good weather conditions, 120 should be fine.
Those changes are underway in Alberta, where drivers will be pressing the gas a little harder. Government in that province greenlit a pilot project increasing the speed limit to 120 kilometers per hour on some rural highways.
I like to make time if I have to go to Toronto. I wouldn't mind if it was a 120, to tell you the truth.
I think there is an appetite for a majority of Ontarians that would favorably consider an increased speed limit.
At the Ontario Safety League, President Angelo DeCicco says increasing the speed limit should rely on research. Since 2019, the province has raised the speed along stretches of 400 series highways by 10 kilometers per hour. Increasing the speed limit, DeCicco says, shouldn't change the definition of stunt driving.
That hard cap limit of 150 kilometers an hour should not be touched. I would not recommend that in any way, shape, or form.
So far, the Ford government has not hinted at further speed limit increases. Former OPP Commissioner Chris Lewis believes that's the right call, saying it will only put more strain on police resources.
People are going to drive 10, 15, 20 kilometers over. So if you up it to 120, now you know people are going to be doing 130, 135, 140. And so that's going to increase the number of deaths and injuries.
Regardless of which direction Ontario takes, the Ontario Safety League says greater education is a must on the roads.
Many people will be surprised to find out that there are areas on the 401 where the speed limit, the maximum, has already been increased to 110. And that was several years ago.
CTV News reached out to the Ontario Ministry of Transportation for comment, but did not hear back by our deadline. Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
This brings us to our question of the day. Should Ontario highway speed limits be increased to 120 kilometers per hour? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked, are you finished with your Christmas shopping? More than 850 people voted, 72% saying yes. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for a first look at the weather tonight. Gary, temperatures will be warming up.
Warming up indeed. We're talking about temperatures near 10 degrees tomorrow. But before we get there, we have to contend with a rain-snow mix that's been draped across the Great Lakes region from Michigan due east towards southern Ontario proper. We're seeing significant snow. In fact, between Chatham, Kent, London, Kitchener, Waterloo, the 400 for one inundated. But you know what? Warm enough that this disturbance will change over to showers for tomorrow and temperatures soaring. I'll break down whether or not we'll see a green Christmas. It's all coming up in just a few minutes.
The holiday giving season is winding down, and for some local charities, the financial pressure is starting to show. One organization says donations are falling short and could soon force difficult decisions about staff and bed space. Here's CTV's Sanjay Mauro.
As the end of the holiday giving season draws near, one organization in particular is finding itself in a concerning position. You wouldn't know it from the array of community Christmas gifts it has received for their clients, but Matthew House is in dire need of monetary donations, down about $170,000 comparing now to this time last year.
80% of the giving comes in the fall giving season, so what we get now actually has to last us through until July, August, when people start opening their wallets up a little bit again.
Matthew House provides shelter to refugee claimants, and its executive director, Mike Morency, says anti-immigrant rhetoric tied to the current U.S. political climate, combined with inflation, has created what he calls a perfect storm, one that's already resulted in staff layoffs. And if this trend continues, Matthew House says it may be forced to close its second home on the city's West End, displacing men, women, and children.
That means that the 44 beds are probably to be the next that we would have to close because we don't have the space here at Forest Glade to bring them over here.
Matthew House isn't the only organization feeling the strain as the holiday giving season winds down. At the Salvation Army in Windsor, officials say they're still working to close the gap in their annual kettle campaign.
Currently, we're at 164,000 that we've collected. Our goal this year is 250,000, so we're a little bit short, but we've got about 4 days that we could potentially have donations.
This as demand for services at the Salvation Army remains steady heading into the new year.
Inflation is hitting everywhere. It gets more expensive to run these programs.
We're 100% donor funded, so if somebody needs to take the bus and they don't have a source of income yet, that's money that Matthew House has to expend.
And consider this a testament to how far a donation can stretch. Matthew House says supporting one person's efforts to integrate into the community along with their shelter would cost just $167 for an entire month. In Windsor, Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
A very special delivery was made today in downtown Windsor just in time for Christmas.
Look up here if you can. There you go.
Windsor's charity organization Sleep in Heavenly Peace built, delivered, and assembled their 1,000th bed today. It's a milestone achievement for the organization that makes beds for children and youth who don't have one. The work is done by volunteers and the wood and bedding are donated. It's a telling statement about the need that exists and that's ongoing in Canada, but most importantly in our community.
We're able to do 250 to 300 beds a year. But it means that we're able to help kids in the community get up off the floor and onto a bed, get a good night's sleep, so that they could prepare for the challenges of tomorrow themselves.
And on the heels of two sold-out Slang Hunger concerts at the Chrysler Theatre, a big donation is going to local food banks. A record $123,000 was raised for food banks across Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent. The Saints have been putting on the holiday fundraiser for 15 years now. Food banks say the donation comes at a critical time, with demand continuing to grow well beyond the holiday season. And an annual Christmas dinner spreading the holiday spirit delivered more meals than ever before.
Grateful for my team because we couldn't have done it without them. We have 20 people in the kitchen that were just working nonstop, pumping out these meals, doing over 2,000 turkey dinners.
In its 8th year, the dinner organized by Greg LeMay and Macro Foods dished out more than 2,200 holiday meals. The festive feast featuring turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and gravy was delivered to Windsor Essex homes and social agencies. Each year, the dinner relies on local businesses and residents to help raise funds and deliver the food to each home. As the annual tradition continues, organizers say more and more people are looking for a helping hand.
I never request a story or what the backstory is, but you always get it. And it seems that a lot of people are down on their luck, but again, I think that also speaks to who we are as Windsor Essex. We always seem to get punched in the chin and hit the mat, but we get back up, and we just try to help each other.
And with a helping hand from community support, a team of determined LaSalle girls raised funds this weekend for a family in need.
We're trying to raise money so Abigail's parents can spend as much time with her as possible.
You're always there for them no matter what. That's probably like the definition of a friend.
Friends of Abigail Delamonte pitched a hot chocolate stand at the Events Center in LaSalle Sunday afternoon. The 11-year-old has faced a years-long battle with a rare, inoperable form of cancer. The goal is to raise money for the family to spend time together without the added financial stress. Help from the town of LaSalle and donations from Starbucks, Tim Hortons, and Bakery Cookies Underground aided in putting together the hot chocolate stand on just 24-hour notice.
It's very important near the Christmas season to help out their family, because it's terrible that So we just wanted to make sure her parents could just like relax and know that everything's taken care of.
I mean, it's kind of great because it's a small town and there's a lot of people that are donating.
Have you been doing something good this holiday season or know of a cause that needs a little extra help? Flag it for us here at CTV News. Text us at 10400. You can also send photos and videos. Now, the Lions' playoff hopes are hanging by a thread, and it's going to take nearly a miracle to keep them alive. After their loss to the Steelers yesterday, the Detroit Lions are right on the edge with just 2 games left in the regular season. The good news, they're not eliminated. The bad news, there's only one way in. Detroit has to win both of its final games, and the Packers have to lose both of theirs. Any other combination, and Detroit is done. The Lions can't win with a tiebreaker with San Francisco, so it's basically a 2-team race for that final NFC playoff spot. For a team that started this season with Super Bowl dreams, they're now just trying to survive. The Bell River couple is opening their doors to the public this holiday season in hopes of spreading some holiday joy, showcasing their Christmas villages 15 years in the making.
Somewhere in the 80s, when I got out of the service, I saw some of the village pieces. I was in a store in Chatham, and I liked the pieces at the time, and I bought a couple. And then I bought some more. And I bought some more.
That visit was the beginning of Stephen Mahovlich's Christmas Village.
Like I said, I probably got 50 that aren't up. At minimum 50 or better that are buried underneath. They're still in the boxes.
Then he got married to Mary, who took over the other side of the Bell River basement, recreating Christmas in New York City.
I have at least 200 buildings in mine, and every year they put out about 6 or 7 pieces, and I budgeted $2,000 a year towards my hobby.
But adding to this collection is becoming more of a challenge.
There's no real place local anymore that this is. When I first started here, you could buy it at Shanfield's, you could buy it at Colonial Nursery in Chatham, you could buy it at Colasanti's. I guess I'm going to have to go to Bronner's.
Staging Christmas Winter Wonderlands appears to run in the family.
My brother also collected at one point. He's probably got 150 pieces buried.
This year, they welcome the public, young and old, to come and experience their hobby firsthand.
I really wish more people could see it. Every time we have repairmen come in the house to pick something down the basement, oh, they got to see the village. And then, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I love kids.
If you would like to visit the Mahovlich's village, we have their email on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca.
It's not competing against the American producer. It's competing against American subsidies.
Still ahead on Windsor's news leader, generational farmers up against tariffs and import intricacies state their hopes with trade talks set to pick up again in the new year. And a look back at what's been a busy year for the provincial premiers from coast to coast. Spoiler alert, tariffs were the hot topic. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Canada will be working towards a new trade deal with the U.S. and Mexico in the new year. And Washington has already set its sight on Canada's dairy industry. CTV's Jeremy Chiron has more on what has farmers worried about in their future.
Does this 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
For more than half a century,
I've been doing this, my whole life, but I took over from my dad in 1992.
Dairy farmers like Peter Reuter have been protected.
When you drive by my farm, know that behind the door there's a farmer like me producing the milk to their standards that they want, healthy, pure, and local.
Canada's supply management system means the industry and its producers are afforded certain safeguards. Quotas and minimum price guarantees ensure stability and predictability. Supply management also protects the domestic market, limiting import access.
It's not competing against the American producer. It's competing against American subsidies.
But in dairy farms like this one across the country, there is a sense of uncertainty. Concern over what CUSMA renegotiations in 2026 could mean for the system that local producers have long been accustomed to.
There comes an end point where it's not worthwhile to, give up that much market share. So we can't give up more.
This week, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer told Congress the dairy industry would be a priority in upcoming trade negotiations. Under the current agreement, the U.S. gets tariff-free access to about 3.5% of Canada's dairy industry. They're pushing to expand that. Prime Minister Mark Carney has repeatedly said supply management will never be on the table in negotiations, a position he stood by when asked Friday.
Not on the table. We'll continue to protect supply management.
In a statement to CTV News, the president of the Dairy Farmers of Canada says they expect this commitment to be honored as the CUSMA review process continues. But here on the farm, the threat is hard to ignore.
If anything were to happen, it'd be vitally impossible for me to continue.
A harsh reality Rooter and the dairy industry as a whole hope they won't have to face.
Compared to the U.S. farms, I'm miniature.
Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meantime, the number of trips to Canada by U.S. residents increased in October. There were more than 1.8 million visits by American residents. That was a growth of around 45,000 from the same month last year. The number of Canadian trips to the U.S. this past October totaled more than 2.3 million. That was down from 3.1 million a year ago, as Canadians continue to shun travel to the U.S. According to the Retail Council of Canada, there has been an alarming rise in the circulation of fake $20, $50, and $100 bills. The council says in the past month alone, its members have reported more fake bills than in the entire previous year. They say counterfeits have become so good they are almost impossible to detect, especially during the holidays when retailers are busy and in a rush. They believe they are being printed by organized crime and are calling on the government and police to do more to stop it. Canadian businesses lose close to $9 billion per year to theft and fraud. Stocks finished higher earlier this holiday week, a positive tone as markets roll into Christmas. The TSX Composite finished strong, up roughly 252 points, led by gains in base metals and energy stocks. The Dow Jones rose roughly 227. The Nasdaq added around 121 points. On commodity markets, the loonie strengthened slightly today. Gold prices surged by $104 per ounce, with futures hitting fresh record highs. Meanwhile, crude oil prices rose 2.4% to roughly $58 a barrel, supported by energy shares.
It's an amazing thing that I get to do and be part of.
Still to come, trading hockey skates for riding boots, how former pro athletes embracing the healing power of horses.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Kurt Sasso for this beautiful morning image from, I believe, Kingsville. Let's take a look at temperatures and rain. And temperatures that could reach double digits? Imagine that as we head towards Christmas. It's coming up next on the CTV News Windsor.
Gary, just last weekend, my husband and my son were skating in our pond. Look at it now.
Well, those waters very, very cold. We see a bit of ice flow there. Temperatures have been up and down. Obviously, it's not safe to be anywhere really near the water unless you're behind a barrier, of course, is watching the ice flows, taking pictures, video, etc. We know the deal. So just be careful. 2 degrees today. Average highs just shy of +1. It was cold this morning. It felt like, well, in the mid-minus single digits and below that at times across parts of southern Ontario. Air quality hasn't been an issue of late. We're looking at 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. The lower the number, the better. The winds, though, are picking up. It's been a gray, cool-ish, cold day and the winds could be gusting in that 50 to 60, maybe even 70 range by around 10 p.m. Temperatures hovering between +1 in Windsor, +2 in Chatham-Kent. That's 34 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit, again under cloudy conditions, breezy conditions, which will only get breezier as we head towards the latter stages of this evening. It feels like about -2 to -4 in and around Windsor, Essex, towards Chatham-Kent and London, Ontario. We are in cold air, no doubt. The polar air has infiltrated southern Ontario at times. We're a bit above that right now, but lots of blue and light blue across the map of our great country. Lots of snow to be had. -teens in the prairies, -teens in northern Ontario. Cold enough across Michigan and parts of the Midwestern tier of southern Ontario, Lake Huron shores towards Grey Bruce, Georgian Bay to see snow. Look, cold air is superseded by some warm air coming up from the south and then replaced by colder air from the northwest. All of this taking place in the next 24 to 48 hours. So that means those big chunky flakes that we did see around 1 o'clock today look like potato chips, but they were snowflakes, are going to change to some light rain showers tomorrow. Breakdown between now and midnight, mostly cloudy, if not a blanket of cloud, and temperatures hovering between 0 and +1. The winds will be picking up, as mentioned. The gusts, that is, sustained winds around 20 to 30. Take a look at our Enercare 7-day forecast. Tuesday is interesting, isn't it? We'll be up to 9 with rain showers, light drizzle, then down to 3. Wednesday, still cloudy. Cloudy on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to all. +5. +5 on Boxing Day. Showers while we're shopping, some of you. And more showers for the weekend. 6 and 5 Saturday, Sunday. +3 a week from now. Monday. Interesting to see the ebb and flow, but it won't last. Winter's just started.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
A retired NHLer has been given the green light to bring his horse-drawn carriage business to Saskatoon. As Allison Bamford explains, it's part of a greater passion the hockey player has leaned on in tough times.
Pretty hungry. Extra bales for the horses on days when it's extra cold.
That's a little chilly, hey?
Rich Pilon spends hours caring for his animals, feeding, grooming, and training.
Right now with the young horses, it's getting them to pull their own weight.
Pilon played 15 years in the NHL, almost entirely for the New York Islanders, retiring in 2001.
Yeah.
Now he runs his own horse-drawn carriage business.
That was kind of our hobby and pastime, was horses. So I've grown up around the horses pretty much since I've been a little guy.
For 2 years, he's cut through red tape trying to get a business license in Saskatoon.
You've spoken here before.
This week, he was finally approved for a temporary permit.
It's an amazing thing that I get to do and be part of. As much as I'm getting paid to be there, it's still amazing to see that these people are having such a good time.
More than that, Pilon says this is how he heals.
Here you go.
Finding purpose in the routine.
There's an accountability and a commitment from me to them that if I'm not there to feed them, then they don't eat.
Pilon is open about his struggles with mental health, addictions, and attempted suicide. 4 years ago, he formed Horses and Hockey Let's Talk to support youth in northern Saskatchewan. These horses have traveled across the province, helping Pilon promote his mental health initiatives. Kids can learn about his story, play hockey, and interact with the animals.
It's to basically give them a break from their real life and hopefully, like I said, fill their cup with joy. They get to have some fun.
A gift these horses give Pilon every day that he hopes to pass forward. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, a Michigan officers rush to save a baby, all caught on body cam. A A Salvation Army bell ringer was shot to death on Thursday outside a Kroger store in Westland, Michigan. Authorities say they arrived at the scene to find the bell ringer dead inside the store with multiple gunshot wounds. Police say this was not a random shooting and the victim and suspect knew one another. A suspect has been taken into custody. Police have not released a motive for the shooting. A Sterling Heights, Michigan police officer is being hailed as a hero after saving the life of a one-year-old child who was unresponsive and not breathing. Lauren Kostuik shares the body cam from the officer showing how he got the young child breathing once again.
Evidence technician officer Matthew Vergadamo arriving within a minute. He then ran straight to the panicked mother who was holding her unresponsive son.
What's up? What's up? Where? Right here? Okay.
Immediately, the officer took the one-year-old and began administrating back blows.
What was he doing?
According to the mother, the baby had a seizure and was choking.
Okay, we got crying. Okay, we got crying. He's okay. He's okay. Okay, you okay?
Baby Roman thankfully began breathing again. The officers then worked to calm down the mother.
Roman. He's okay now.
It was a good moment. It felt really good knowing that I was able to help.
Officer Vergadamo spoke to Local 4, saying this is a call that will stick with him for the rest of his career, saying he's grateful his training kicked in when it mattered the most.
I'm just very happy that, they're going to be able to spend time together for the holidays, and it was a positive outcome.
It was the #1 film at the box office this weekend, but the newest Avatar movie came in far below expectations.
If there's something you can do, then you must do it.
Avatar Fire and Ash debuted with $88 million US across North America. However, analysts had predicted on opening weekend as much as $125 million at an estimated budget of $400 million. It was followed by the animated biblical adventure David, which had around $20 million in ticket sales. The film adaptation of The Housemaid, starring Sydney Sweeney, was right behind with $19 million to secure third place.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. The Brentwood Dream Hope Lottery is back with your chance to win big while changing lives in the community. For details, visit BrentwoodLottery.com. Play responsibly. See you next time on Our Community.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has been named the Canadian Press Newsmaker of 2025, and the vote wasn't even close. Carney was picked by 72 of 95 respondents. Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's announcement last January that he was going to resign set the stage for Carney's rise to the PM's office. His elbows up message in response to President Trump's trade war and threats of annexation became the central theme of the Liberal campaign. Once in office, Carney launched a global charm offensive in a bid to diversify Canadian trade. Toronto Blue Jays slugger Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was a distant second in the Newsmaker survey with 8 votes. This year, many in our country came together to stand up for Canada. That includes the premiers of each province and territory. Team Canada was on the front line of the trade fight. But as CTV's Andrew Johnson shows us, old interprovincial rivalries were also renewed.
In a year that started out looking like this.
I think Canada is going to be a very serious contender to be our 51st state. We're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
Canada's premiers, the faces of each province, became a focal point of resistance against Donald Trump's trade threats.
As Canadians, we need to realize that he is not joking.
each standing up to defend their provincial and territorial economic engines on behalf of Team Canada. An early move, all but two, opting to remove U.S. liquor from store shelves. Manitoba's Wab Kinew took a page right out of the American president's playbook.
It's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the Liquor Mart shelves.
At the White House in February, the premiers met with members of the Trump administration, presenting a united front.
The worst thing we could do as a country is not show up.
For Ontario's Doug Ford, showing up meant going on the offensive, threatening to punish America by any means possible, including restricting power sales.
If the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely.
Ford even urged Alberta to put an export tax on oil.
Their gas prices go up $90 to $1 a gallon. They will lose their minds.
That did not sit well with Premier Danielle Smith, who called the idea absurd and self-destructive.
You can ask me as much as you like. The answer is no.
Smith, who'd been criticized for visiting Trump at his Mar-a-Lago home in January, said diplomacy, not retaliation, was the best way to deal with the president. The Team Canada narrative was also interrupted in May, when supporters of Alberta separation celebrated a Smith government bill that would make it easier for voters to force a referendum. Smith said she didn't support separation, but also wouldn't stand in the way.
I will respect the outcome of citizen-initiated referenda, and that's why it's my job to make sure it doesn't get to that point.
I want to welcome everyone.
By summer, 6 months into the trade war, premiers and territorial leaders were in Ontario cottage country, talking trade, tariffs, and teamwork.
Right now, our economy in all Canada suffers because of the uncertainty.
Another goal of the three-day summit was to make it easier to move goods between provinces at a time when many discovered buying Canadian could be difficult.
I can't say how many times I've heard it's easier for me to access Alabama than Alberta.
In late September, Trump again turned up the heat, announcing new tariffs. Ontario's response got under the president's skin.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign...
A $75 million ad campaign airing on major American networks starring former President Ronald Reagan.
Over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
Trump called the ad fake and promptly ended Canadian trade talks.
They did a crooked ad. They know it was Ronald Reagan loved tariffs.
Ontario ended up pulling the campaign early, but the man who authorized it was downright Trump-like in declaring its success.
It was the most successful ad in the history of North America.
It was around this time cracks in the Premier's Team Canada collective widened out west over Alberta's pitch for a new pipeline to send bitumen to BC's northwest coast. Despite a hard no from BC's David Eby, Danielle Smith pushed to have the proposal added to Mark Carney's major projects list.
Premier Eby's comments are un-Canadian and they're unconstitutional. All it takes is the Prime Minister to say yes.
It's not the Danielle Smith show, it's the Canadian team. And we all deserve the same opportunity for the same federal funding for our projects as she does for hers. That's not un-Canadian, that is fair.
Smith got what she wanted, a memorandum of understanding signed by the PM.
I think it's going to unleash an incredible amount of investment.
As 2025 comes to a close, with Canada and the U.S. still deadlocked on a trade deal, we can expect a continued focus going forward on the premiers, advocating for their provinces and territories, and trying to get along. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still to come, Windsor Police has some festive fun, slapping some cuffs on the least festive figure around. Very cloudy out there.
Cloudy, cool, damp, getting windier as I speak. Stefanie, tonight, we could be in the middle of a rain-snow mix. We don't like to see that because involved in that mix could be some freezing rain. However, tomorrow is a warm day. We could get up to 9. You know, a week ago, the models were suggesting double digits, 10 to 12 degrees. We're going to settle on 9 with rain in the morning, then light drizzle through the midday. Cloudy Wednesday into Thursday, 3, then 5. That's Christmas Day, 5 degrees on the plus side. Boxing Day, 5. Saturday, Sunday, between 5 and 6 in rain. And then Monday, a week from now, some showers. We're going to be mild enough to see wet weather rather than snowflakes.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Finally, a quick holiday note. This one very much tongue-in-cheek, but Windsor police say Christmas has been saved. Windsor police posting a festive and fictional update today announcing the arrest of the Grinch. Officers say the Grouchy Green suspect was reported at, quote, 6767 Whoville Plaza, where he was trying to steal a Christmas tree, stockings, and an unreasonable amount of candy canes. Police joked the Grinch was already on strict bail conditions after last year's holiday mischief, including staying out of Whoville and avoiding all Christmas-related trouble. He was eventually caught, allegedly slowed down by too many of those candy canes. In the end, all stolen holiday spirit was safely recovered. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, well, the Grinch certainly makes the letter G look bad.
Yes.
Not happy about that.
It's interesting. He was arrested at 6767 Whoville Chris. I know you would like that one. I knew it.
Absolute garbage. 6-7 should be arrested as well. But I have to say, the cartoon version of the Grinch, one of my favorite cartoons of all time. It scared me when I was like 2, 3 years old. But I still love it. And of course, Jim Carrey, our Canadian superstar, did a great job with a version himself.
And a big thank you to Windsor Police for constantly keeping our community safe.
Great job.
On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we both will be back for your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
See you then.